Glad you're all here. There's many more kind of bustling around the building today, and you're going to meet a lot of classmates and friends, and it's great to have you all back at Albany Law School. There's no exam today. Maybe. My job, so my name is Jeff Shantz. I'm the Vice President for Advancement and Chief of Staff, and my role here is to introduce our new dean. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Dean Carlarn joined Albany Law School in July of 2023. She comes to us from The Ohio State University, Moritz College of Law, where she was the Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life. Dean Carlarn joined the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law in 2011 as a faculty member and was named the Robert J. Lynn Chair in Law in 2022. She served as the Associate Dean for Faculty and Intellectual Life for 4 years. She's a leading international expert in environmental and climate change law policy. She has a deep commitment to environmental equity and social justice. She's authored several books on climate change law and policy and textbooks on international environmental law and oceans and human health and well-being. She was the Harold Woods Research Fellow in Environmental Law at Wadham College, Oxford, from 2006 to 2008, and returned to Wadham as the Keeley Visiting Fellow in 2019. Prior to her career in higher education, she was an associate attorney in the Energy, Land Use, and Environment section at Aiken Gump Strauss Hauer and Feld Law Firm in Washington, D.C. Dean Carlarn has a Bachelor of Arts degree as a university scholar from Baylor University and a JD from the University of California at Berkeley. She holds a Bachelor of Civil Law and a master's degree in environmental change and management from the University of Oxford, where she was a Marshall Scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, our 19th President and Dean, Cinnamon Carlarn.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to say hello to everybody who's in the room and also hello to everybody online. We're so glad that you could all join us. So thank you very much for joining me, and thank you for joining the Albany Law Reunion. As Jeff noted, I became president and dean at Albany Law School a little over a year ago. In some ways, we got volume online. This is what the classrooms can be like too. In some ways, it's hard to believe that it's already been a year. I really feel like it was just yesterday that I stood in the same spot, looking out at all of these friendly faces and gave my first State of the School speech. But it's also actually really hard for me to believe that I've only been here in part of this really wonderful community for just over a year. A tremendous amount of positive things have happened this year. I've learned an enormous amount about Albany Law School. We have grown our community, expanded our academic offerings, graduating an outstanding class, welcomed 5 new faculty members, welcomed a new, impressive, and enthusiastic group of students to our school, launched our new flexible JD program, raised our national profile, and strengthened our position as a leader in legal education. Now, before I dive in and share a whole slew of exciting things that have happened over the past year, and also what our future plans are, I just want to take a moment and encourage everybody in the room along the way to think about if you have any questions or any comments, and we would love to hear those at the end. Now, today I want to focus my talk on 3 things: people, progress, and possibilities. And we'll start, of course, with people, which is the heart of who we are. So let me begin with a very simple point. Albany Law School is stronger than ever and poised to continue building on its existing strengths. I am very proud and I am honored to get to be part of this community. Now let me say a little bit more about why I'm so honored to be here and why I am confident that we are so well positioned to continue deepening Albany Law's reputation as an institution of legal excellence and as an accessible and inclusive community. The starting points for this are clear. We have the strongest student body we have ever had along just about every metric. We have a world-class faculty that embrace the importance of student-centered teaching, engaged scholarship, and public service. We have a phenomenal staff that epitomize excellence, dedication, and loyalty. And we have an institution, a historic independent institution that is nimble and resilient and poised to thrive amidst the changes in legal education in ways that allow us to preserve our core strengths while also being responsive to changes in the legal environment, of which we know there are many, and changes in technology. And of course, we have alumni that are unparalleled in their dedication to this law school, who are leaders in the judiciary, the state, federal government, private practice, business, and beyond. I have truly, and I say this so genuinely after all these months, I have truly never experienced a community that is as proud, as loyal, exceptional, and filled with potential for continued growth and excellence as this one. Now, before I share news about our terrific student body, let me just take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation for our school's phenomenal leadership team who work every day to advance the work and mission of our school. This year's leadership team include many folks who are here today. Associate Dean Rosemary Queenan, Associate Dean Janine Toronto, Associate Dean Jonathan Rosenblum, Associate Dean Ray Brescia, Vice President Victor Rauscher, Vice President Jeff Shantz, Assistant Dean Jermaine Cruz, Assistant Dean Mary Walsh Fitzpatrick, Assistant Dean Antonia Squire, Professor Sarah Rogerson, Director of the Edward P. Swire Justice Center, Professor David Walker, Director of our Schaefer Law Library, Tom Torello, Director of Communications, who's responsible for all the brilliance here today, Professor Dan Balana, Director of Bar Success, and Professor Dale Cheka, who's the co-chair of our Long Range Planning Committee. And I want to call them out because this is a team of incredibly hardworking and visionary leaders who, alongside the rest of our tremendous staff and faculty, help ensure that we don't just maintain, but that we advance the excellence of Albany Law School. Okay, now let's talk about our students. And let's begin by looking very proudly at this year's incoming class. For the incoming class of 2024, we received 1,971 applications and yielded a class of 222 students. That's a 45% increase in applications, much of which is driven by our new flexible JD program, which I'll share a good deal about more later. The median LSAT for our class of 2024 increased to a 156. This is a 1-point increase from last year and a 4-point increase in the last 4 years. At the same time, our median GPA held very strong at 3.48. It's a remarkable class. And with this incredibly strong class, we're really bucking national trends, particularly for small independent law schools. And we are working hard daily to ensure that every student who becomes a part of the Albany Law community is supported and really set to succeed. To this end, in common with the longstanding mission of Albany Law School, I am deeply committed to ensuring that everything that we do as a community advances our mission of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am proud to share that this incoming class of 2024 is one of the strongest and most diverse classes we've ever enrolled along a number of metrics. They are joining a law school that, while steeped in tradition that we're so proud of, continues to be an innovator in the field of legal education. A little bit about this. So 25% of our new JD class self-identify as racially or ethnically diverse. This is up from 20% just a few years ago. 30% of our students are first-generation college students. And about 23% of those students are non-traditional students as well. And our students are geographically diverse. They hail from all over the country and all over the world. The incoming class includes students from 19 different states and territories, 15 countries, and of course, we still have a very strong, excellent New York contingent as well. Our students are also academically diverse. We attracted students from 95 different colleges and 45 different majors. And I'm sure every student in the room can really attest to the fact that having English students and engineering students and math students and philosophers in the same room really brightens and deepens all of those discussions. So our students really do continue to shine as beacons of the future of the legal profession. They have fully embraced the values at the core of Albany Law School and are having a direct impact on our community already. I want to give you just a few examples of their true excellence. The class of 2024 completed, and I'm going to say this twice so you can hear it. The class of 2024 completed 56,632 hours of pro bono and public service work. 56,632 hours of pro bono and public service work during their time at Albany Law School. This is a tremendous accomplishment. It is a great strength and pride of Albany Law School that we are training lawyers who understand and embrace the power of the rule of law and both the opportunities, but also the obligations that attend to being a lawyer. A few more examples of their excellence. Student taking Associate Dean Jonathan Rosenblum's Land Use and Racial Justice class earned the opportunity to work with Albany city leaders, including our very own Mayor Kathy Sheehan, class of 1994, when they created a 170-page report called Grounded Justice, Unveiling Racial Equity and Land Use Across the Capital Region. This report analyzed land use laws and their impacts on social equity and biodiversity, and the report opens the door for a much larger discussion about how local governments can move towards social betterment and the advancement of a more equitable and just future. In addition, our Latin American Law Student Association hosted the National Latino Law Student Association's annual national conference here in Albany. And this conference recognized and celebrated the impact of Latino and Latina students and attorneys in our profession. It was a really phenomenal event. I have to say, it was wonderful. And it was an event that showcased not only our fantastic students, but also our incredible alumni who showed up in record numbers and were featured and kind of celebrated throughout the multi-day event. In addition, members, and this is a really fantastic, important one, members of the class of 2023 achieved a 95% employment rate at graduation. This is well above the national average of 85% that's reported to the American Bar Association, and it's the third year in a row that Albany Law School class employment has topped 90%. The class of 2023 began law school at the height of the pandemic. This outstanding employment outcome is a testament to their excellence and resilience and the unrivaled support they receive from the incredibly dedicated and excellent staff in our Center for Career and Professional Development, who really truly are, and I know everybody in this room knows this, world class in their professionalism and their dedication to our students. So a huge thank you. I would also like to note that Albany Law School is now ranked number 3 among the top law schools for government and public interest jobs, according to a Reuters analysis of the U.S. law schools. In the class of 2023, 36.3% of our graduates were hired in public interest and government jobs. That's something we're very proud of. And importantly, we strive every day to produce strong, competent, and hardworking lawyers and leaders, students who are ready to practice on day one and ready to make a difference in whatever job they choose. This is the true hallmark of an Albany Law degree, one we're proud of and one we're committed to keeping. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about fact. So our students would not be who they were if they weren't taught and inspired by a world-class group of teachers and scholars. Now, it's easy today to start with a shining example. It was my distinct pleasure to be present last night at the Grand Honors Awards ceremony when Professor Mary Lynch, the Stoneman Chair in Law and Democracy, received the Trustees Gold Medal. There is simply no way of overstating the impact that Professor Lynch has had on Albany Law School and the thousands of students' lives that she's touched in her 35 years at Albany Law. Professor Lynch has served in many roles during her time at Albany Law, none more important than as director of the Domestic Violence Prosecution Hybrid Clinic. Her impact on the state of legal education goes well beyond our school. Mary is renowned throughout our field as an innovator and as a leader. We're so grateful to Professor Lynch for all that she's done and for all her continuing contributions to our community. Now, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of truly exceptional faculty across the country over the course of my academic career. And I'm confident and very comfortable saying that we have one of the most impressive, well-regarded, thought-provoking, civic-minded faculty around. From our amazing junior faculty such as Dale Cheka and Fermin Mendez, who are doing critical work on questions of family law, equity, and economic development right here in our community, to an incredible new cohort of faculty, including scholars such as Jennifer Martin and Carla Spivak, who are thought leaders on contract law and commercial law and trusts and estates and doing some of the leading work with the ABA, to our world-class lawyering professors, including among others, Kanika Johar, Caitlin Lewis, Victoria Esposito, and Deborah Mann, to our longstanding, well-known and regarded faculty, such as Pat Rahan, Mike Hutter, Ray Brescia, Anthony Farley, Melissa Brieger, Evelyn Tenenbaum, Vin Bonventry, Christine Chung, Rob Heverly, Pat Connors, and so many others. Two, I have to say, are emerging thought leaders. We have some fantastic emerging field leaders, such as C.G. Dodds, Ava Ayers, Sarah Rogerson, and Ted DeBarbieri. And again, many others. I could speak about every single member of our faculty and share with you not only how brilliant they are, how impactful their scholarship is, how much they focus on achieving change in law and policy, but also, and really critically to who we are as a school, how student-centered they are. And thanks to our strong reputation, we're able to continue attracting exceptional faculty from around the world. In fact, this year, we've welcomed 5 new faculty members. Our new faculty include Assistant Professor Diego Alcala Laboy. Diego joins us from Widener University, Delaware Law School, but before that, he worked as a public defender both in Puerto Rico and in Virginia. He's an emerging thought leader on questions of criminal law and law and technology, where he's doing all kinds of fascinating work. Professor Zhao Yi Li, who joined us as an assistant professor from the University of Pittsburgh School of Law, where she was a visiting assistant professor, and she focuses on corporate governance, fiduciary duties, and she's teaching a class on mergers and acquisitions right now. Also joining us is Associate Professor Rose Rameau. Rose comes to us from Georgia State University College of Law, where she was a visiting professor, and her work focuses on international law, international business transactions, and more. Prior to going into academia, she had her own boutique firm, and she represented clients around the world. And while not new to Albany Law, Assistant Professor Victoria Esposito has joined the faculty full-time after being a visiting assistant professor of law with us since 2022. Before that, she was the first advocacy director of the Legal Aid Society of Northeastern New York. Also joining us in name, but not yet in body, is Assistant Professor Annette Martinez Arabona. Annette is an international human rights lawyer, and she was set to join us here in this fall, but she was offered the incredible opportunity to be the director of the ACLU in Puerto Rico. And she's on leave for a year to direct the ACLU in Puerto Rico, which is creating incredible opportunities for us and for our students. We are also very excited to have several exceptional visiting professors join our school this year, including David Elkins, who comes to us from Netanya College in Israel. Rebecca Ann Durden, who teaches lawyering and came to us after a long career in the New York State Office of the Attorney General. Lauren Duracier, who's been with us for several years in the immigration clinic and now is directing the clinic as a visiting assistant professor. Professor Michael Wetmore, Albany Law, class of 2014. Mike, who is a former assistant district attorney for the Albany County District Attorney's Office, rejoins us as a visiting professor, and he teaches evidence, criminal law, and trial practice. And finally, one more alum, Mary Ann Crissa, Albany Law class of 2019, who currently serves as a senior appellate court attorney at the Appellate Division 4th Department, will join us in the spring to teach in our lawyering program for our flexible JD program. And this is just a window into the depth and excellence of our faculty. Our faculty are truly an exceptional group of teachers, scholars, and leaders. Their collective excellence grounds the Albany Law experience, and they are being recognized nationally as thought leaders and scholars. In just the past year, in addition to the dozens of articles and books that they produce, our faculty have authored op-eds in publications including Time Magazine, The Daily Beast, Newsday, Law 360, CNN, the medical website STAT, among many others. Albany Law voices are out there on some of the most important issues of our time, and they're representing us incredibly well. Now, I want to turn to our truly exceptional alumni community. Let me begin by congratulating all the alumni who are listening today on the celebration of their milestone reunions from Albany Law School. And let me say a special congratulations, I see sitting right here in the front, the class of 1974 as they celebrate their 50th reunion. And there's a terrific cohort of 74 grads here. And I'm looking forward to talking to you all over the weekend. Over the course of my first year, I've had the really good fortune to meet many alumni. Through receptions and meetings with graduates across this country, from California to Minnesota to Washington, D.C. to Florida, and all across New York and beyond, I really have enjoyed meeting so many of our alumni and hearing so many personal stories about what Albany Law School has meant to so many people. I've been impressed not only with the leadership roles our alumni hold across the country, but also with their incredible level of enthusiasm that they show for Albany Law School, their level of engagement, their loyalty to the school, and their willingness, which really is much more than willingness, it's keenness, to really actively help and show up for our students all the time. Our alumni network is one of the strongest components of who we are as a community. I know that, you know that, and our students know that. It is in no small part because of this network that we were able to achieve that 95% employment figure I mentioned earlier. And our alumni continue to be incredibly generous in their support of Albany Law School. Our annual fund has grown dramatically each year, and we now raise nearly $2 million in annual support. And so I just want to stop and just kind of express my thanks and my gratitude to every single person who contributed. Every donation is incredibly meaningful to our students. It shapes their lives. And we continue to see our friends and alumni help support our mission of ensuring that Albany Law education is accessible and affordable. Through the generosity and the generations of our graduates, we added 2 new scholarships to support our students in perpetuity: the Sullivan Family Scholarship and the Honorable Richard Mulvey Class of 1960 Scholarship. This support for students truly changes their lives. They and we are very, very grateful. And I want to take just a moment to recognize one exceptional alumna. And as you may have heard, our director of the Government Law Center, Judge Leslie Stein, class of 1981, who joined us shortly after her tenure as an associate judge on the New York Court of Appeals, retired this year, in May of this year. In short, Judge Stein's time at Albany Law School was transformational. Here, as in the rest of her career, she was a pathbreaker, she was a mentor, she was a leader, and she really helped elevate our Government Law Center to a new level. The Government Law Center serves as a bridge between government and academia and has become a truly critical resource for those in New York State and local government and for the larger New York State and Capital District communities. It is also an unparalleled resource for our students who are interested in government service and public interest more broadly. The work of the Government Law Center is a large part of why we were recognized by Pre-Law Magazine as #1 for government law in the country, a truly remarkable feat. And anticipating future good news and success, we're in the process of finding our next director and hope to share good news soon. And of course, hopefully next year that person will be in place to join us for reunion. Now, turning from people to progress. There's a lot to share, but one of the most exciting developments at Albany Law School this year was the launch of our new Flex JED program. I'm happy to share that we welcomed our first class this August. The faculty and staff spent more than 2 years developing the Flex JD, which I have to tell you the ABA approved without any questions, which never happens. And that's just a testament to all of the work and care that went into this program. The new program, this new flexible JD program, once again places Albany Law School at the cutting edge of legal education. The Flex JD program combines online education with an in-person dimension to offer the Albany Law JD experience to students who otherwise might not be able to earn our JD because they are working, they have families, or they're geographically distant. The Flex JD will have, well, already does, but soon the students will get to enroll in specialty tracks in government law and public service, social justice and public interest, business law, and environment and climate law. A huge amount of thought and work has gone into developing the curriculum and the strategy to ensure that it represents the Albany Law name well. That is to ensure that it offers the same high-quality, engaged educational program that our residential JD program does. It has turned out to be a hugely popular and desirable program. We received 587 applications for a class of 30 students. That resulted in an admit rate of around 19%. And we ended up with a class of 31 because we had one extra. This well exceeded our expectations, 580 applications in the first year. Academically, the Flex JD students are very strong with a median LSAT of 157. And while 12 of our students come from New York, in all we have 15 different states represented, including Texas, Florida, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, and Missouri. And we also have 4 international students, including 2 from or who are living in China. In addition, 2 of our students are in the Army, 11 of them already hold graduate degrees, and 75% of them are first-generation law school students. Now, I had the pleasure, real pleasure, they were fantastic, of meeting the first cohort of Flex JD students when they came to campus just a few weeks ago for what will be the first of an annual in-person component of their curriculum. I have to say, I was simply blown away. I was blown away by their diverse backgrounds, their excitement for the program, and their ambitions and engagement, and their just overall belief in what a JD from Albany Law School can do for them. We were able to sit down with a few of them and speak about why they chose Albany Law School, and I'm actually just going to let you listen to them for a moment.
I'm joining from Washington, D.C.
I am based out of Beijing currently for my husband's job.
I'm originally from the South Bronx. Right now I work as an assembly member. I represent the South Bronx on the state level in the New York State Assembly. And you know, what drew me to Albany Law specifically, obviously, is its excellence in public service.
I live in Florida, lived there for 44 years. I wouldn't have the time necessary to do even an in-person part-time or evening class schedule. There are 2 great schools in DC, and I didn't even apply to them because I know that there's no way I could fulfill the in-person requirement on a daily basis with a busy schedule.
I want to make changes to the systemic inequities in education and for children, and I want to do that through policy work.
The fact that there is a Flex JD program, that I didn't have to quit my job and move somewhere, was very appealing. To be honest with you, without that, I don't even know if I would be in this program. I don't know many people who can afford just to quit their job.
The ability to have this course schedule fit into my life in a way that will work for me is really priceless.
It just feels different here. People are very accepting and very positive.
Albany Law doesn't feel like a law school where you will just be another number or another name on a list of rankings. It feels like a school where you will be a complete student, a complete person. And I think in the Flex JD program, even more, understanding that we are students who come to this with maybe a fuller life, a fuller set of responsibilities and expectations. And that's something that I really appreciate, because I think in a modern world, you know, we're trying something that's different and that's presumably difficult. And we're complicating it a little more by adding life in between. And so I really appreciate that sense of community and that sense of support.
The JD Flex program allows me to get my degree from not only another country, but on the other side of the world. So I'm so grateful that I can still accomplish my goals with my education while living so far and being able to be close to my family.
I wasn't going to leave the state assembly to pursue a law degree, but I do think that a law degree will make me better at my job and as a public servant overall. And so the Flex JD is special because it helps me get better while also allowing me to keep doing this work that I find deeply fulfilling.
I didn't want to be a number. I wanted to go somewhere where I would be supported throughout my law school journey and afterwards.
What really shines out is that there's an immediate sense that the entire faculty, the team, is really invested in our success, and they genuinely care about us and want us to succeed, and it's a very personal kind of relationship, and I am 100% sure it's going to be a unique experience and one of the best educational experiences of my lifetime.
So just so you know, among those 4 students who I got to know and who were fantastic, one is a medical doctor, one is a pharmacist, one is in the state assembly, and the other will be moving every 2 years because her partner is with the Department of State, and that's why she's in Beijing right now. An incredible group. I think you can see why I and all of us are so excited by this program and so proud that Albany Law is creating this incredible opportunity for what will inevitably be an exceptional group of lawyers and leaders. Now, looking outward to our non-JD programs, as I'm sure many of you in the room are aware, about 8 years ago, we began offering online master's and LLM degrees in 5 different academic areas: cybersecurity, financial compliance and risk management, health law and healthcare compliance, human resources, and government affairs and advocacy. The success of these programs are really critical to our continuing efforts to ensure that Albany Law School remains a stalwart of JD education while also expanding our reach and reputation as a field-leading graduate school of law. And if you have any thoughts or questions about these programs and how they intersect with our overall quality and reputation, rest assured they are incredibly positive. The faculty in these programs are leaders in the field, and the programs have been attracting students and graduating students who bring unique perspectives, experience to the school. And they're going out there and doing incredible things with these degrees. We're very quickly becoming known as a leader in graduate legal education, and we're very proud of that. And of course, closer to home, we continue to innovate across our JD curriculum, including through expanding our already field-leading experiential learning opportunities. I want to give you just a few examples of those. So last spring, we offered a first-of-its-kind course on gender-based violence, law, policy, and practice, which provides an opportunity for students to not only become involved in their community and understand the impact of gender-based violence, understand the impact it has on survivors, and understand the impact it has in terms of just changing people's lives, but also to show the importance of law and policies related to domestic violence and gender-based violence. We also hosted the Warren M. Anderson series, which features experts who address major legal and policy issues pending before the New York State government. Topics this past spring included the state of police oversight in New York, artificial intelligence and government operations, New York State redistricting revisited, and the powers of the governor in the state budget process. We also co-hosted with the New York State Bar Association a terrific symposium on racism, wealth equity, and the law in March, which brought hundreds of people in. Participants in the symposium discussed the presence and impact of structural racism and the racial wealth gap in housing, health, and education, and strategies to meaningfully promote equity in this area for all of New Yorkers. In addition, the Albany Law Review's 14th annual Chief Judge Lawrence H. Cook State Constitutional Commentary Symposium, it's a mouthful, but the symposium featured a discussion between current Chief Judge Rowan Wilson and former Chief Judge Jonathan Lippman. It was moderated by Professor Vin Bonventry and Professor Kanika Johar, who's here. And Chief Judge Wilson, who's also shown up for his incredible ways, also judged in the final round of our Gabrielli Moot Court competition. And as a testament to our constant and evolving progress, this is kind of lifetime news. Just this past week, Pre-Law Magazine named Albany Law as a top school in health law and technology law. In addition, I'm really thrilled to share that Albany Law School in the same issue last week was identified as a top law school for women in leadership. This was the first year Pre-Law recognized excellence in women's leadership. So to be part of that inaugural class is really a tremendous accomplishment. And it's due in no small part to all of the incredible women leaders and our staff, our faculty, and our alumni, and because of the really wonderful, important, and growing work of our Women's Leadership Initiative, which will have a brunch tomorrow morning gathering together. Now, let's turn to one of our really great points of pride, the Edward P. Swire Justice Center. Hopefully you've all had a chance to walk around in this beautiful weather, and in doing so have seen our new sign on the front of the 2000 building. Last year, we honored our longtime supporter and donor, Ed Swire, and the Swire family by renaming the Justice Center in his honor. I've had the really great pleasure to get to know Mr. Swire this past year. He's an incredibly intelligent, generous, kind, creative, and very successful businessman whose philanthropy has really changed the lives of thousands of people, many of them clients of our Justice Center. We're very grateful to Mr. Swire for his continuing support and so proud to have his name on the Justice Center and so proud of the work that's actually happening through the Justice Center. And I want to talk a little bit more about that work. So later this year, the Justice Center will be celebrating its 50th anniversary, a remarkable accomplishment. The Justice Center was launched when experiential education and clinical learning was really a very new concept in legal education. And over the last 5 decades, the work done through the Justice Center has helped thousands of individuals, families, and community organizations and businesses. The center houses 5 different clinics that provide free legal services to underserved populations in our community, including low-income cancer, AIDS, and hospice patients, children and families, immigrants and refugees, and victims of domestic violence. I want to just give you a few highlights of the work that's been done this past year. So last year, Lexi Padon, class of 2025, working within the Domestic Violence Prosecution Hybrid Clinic, had the opportunity to help bring justice to families and children right here in the Capital Region. As a student in the clinic, she worked on a high-profile case alongside the Special Victims Unit of Schenectady County Prosecutor's Office, which handles abuse cases, rape cases, and child pornography cases. Lexi worked closely with prosecutors on a particularly high-profile case of child sexual abuse. And in January of this past year, they helped secure guilty verdicts on 20 felonies and 3 misdemeanor charges against the defendant. And in our family violence litigation clinic, which represents adult survivors of intimate partner violence in the Capital Region, through this clinic last year, 3L Hannah DeLandeburo, class of 25, under the guidance and supervision of the remarkable Dale Cheka, who I already mentioned, successfully represented a client in one of the most complex cases that has ever come through the clinic. Despite many challenges and hurdles, Hannah was able to win a final child support order that was double the amount the magistrate had originally ordered prior to the clinic becoming involved in the case. Now, having focused on our remarkable people and all of the incredible progress that we've made, now I want to turn to possibilities. As perhaps you can tell, I could really spend hours in a very detailed and enthusiastic way sharing everything that goes on in the law school, all the amazing people that we have and all of the incredible work that they're doing. But of course, I also often get the question of what the future looks like for Albany Law School. When I arrived last year, I arrived at the intersection of 2 key moments in our history. We had just completed our most successful fundraising effort to date, the We Rise Together campaign, and we had also just approved a new strategic plan entitled From Innovation to Opportunity. The strategic plan, which we are actively implementing every day, focuses on 3 pillars: impact, innovation, and inclusion. You will find these pillars woven throughout the plan and into each of the individual goals. Very briefly, the plan centers around 3 goals. First, ensuring that every Albany Law School student graduates with a set of transformational competencies. Second, focusing on innovation across our curriculum. And third, maintaining and deepening Albany Law School's commitment to being a student-centered institution. Of course, the real joy and challenge with the plan is taking these overarching goals and bringing them to life through discrete and meaningful actions. And to that end, this year we're focused on discrete actions in 6 core areas, including strengthening the JD program. And this includes doing a curricular review, looking at curricular innovation, thinking about technology in the curriculum, institutionalizing diversity, equity, and inclusion across and beyond the law school community, strengthening and expanding our graduate and professional legal education programs through the launch of the Flex JD, the deepening of our master's programs, improving bar success and career opportunities, focusing on continuing to improve our already strong bar passage rates, expanding our pipelines to practice, and really maximizing and supporting the already exceptional work of our Career and Professional Development Center. The next one is advancing institutional resilience and excellence through modernizing our systems management, improving our physical plan, our student spaces, really thinking about how to create functional and welcoming student spaces that allow our students to thrive, And finally, continuing to really deepen and improve the financial strength of the law school and the Albany Law brand and how we project ourselves in the world. And we have more to share. At this moment, we are actually undertaking a comprehensive review of all of our needs, from student life to academic affairs, from bar preparation to job placement, from the courtyard to the gym, and determining how we can be the best version of Albany Law moving forward. This means that we are planning for our next fundraising campaign, and it's going to be every bit as important and every bit as compelling and exciting as our last campaign. And we hope that you will all see places to be involved and to help support our students and help ensure the future success of Albany Law. Every single day that I'm here and part of this community, I'm inspired by the people who make our community so vibrant. The progress we are making as a law school that not only educates students, but also really works to empower them to be of service to society. And all the exciting possibilities that we're building upon through our strategic plan and all of our collective work. So let me just conclude where I began. The state of Albany Law School is strong and our future is incredibly bright. We collectively are working hard every day to ensure our place as a center of excellence and innovation in legal education. At the heart of our success is our community. And at the center of that community is all of you, our alumni and friends. Put simply, none of the achievements, none of our progress, none of our possibilities we've talked about today, none of these wonderful things to come will be possible without your continued support. So I want to say a deep thank you for everything you've done and everything you will do to support this incredible institution. And I want to also say thank you for being here for reunion weekend. And I hope that you have a really terrific reunion weekend. Thank you.